So I'm Chrissa McFarlane, founder and CEO of Patientory. It's 2021 and you still don't have ownership of your health information. Not only that, the lack of access to health information and eligible participants is one of the greatest challenges for pharmaceutical companies today, which we saw was heightened by the pandemic. Over $1 million is lost on a daily basis because of the inability to enroll eligible candidates and bring in new drugs in the clinical trial market. In 2019, over $3 billion was spent towards clinical trial recruitment, with 60% of those costs really going to like social media efforts, which still did not result in recruitment for trials. So at Patientory, through innovative emergent technology, we give ownerships to individuals of their medical and health information, where we can then target and identify the right population for clinical trial recruitment. We've built the world's largest decentralized and distributed health information exchange storage system, which currently aggregates medical data from 90% of the US population, all powered by blockchain and of course, cryptocurrency. Through our two products, our enterprise population health and risk management platform and our consumer app, which is they're both DApps, which means they're built on this decentralized and distributed network called PTOYMatrix, we're able to securely streamline access to sensitive private health information. Specifically, our simple to use user app generates a digital health fingerprint and a health score based on their health information with recommendations on how they can improve their health to keep them engaged. Is how it works. Essentially, they'll log on to our app, create an identity and consent to locate their data on our global network using our app, where they receive their digital health fingerprint. Our backend recommends and alerts them with clinical trials that they are deemed eligible for. We're essentially now selling this directly to contract research organizations and pharma companies, where we receive essentially fees based on randomization of trials that we recruit for. And then our enterprise SaaS product, we're also able to sell this into insurance employers and healthcare providers as a SaaS service. Today, we have over 35,000 subscribers within our network that we were able to successfully recruit for. Last quarter, we had signed over 2 million worth of contracts and recruited for COVID-19 clinical trials with Moderna and Novavax. We're also actively recruiting for additional trials, and since our launch, have recruited for 6 clinical trials to date. So we currently have over 13 patents pending, where we're able to provide this data intelligence to the industry in terms of our key differentiators. Me specifically, I have over 15 years in the health IT space, and data interoperability is one of my key passions, and how it can provide efficiency in crises such as the pandemic. And my team, combined, we all have over 40 years in the IT space and the health intelligence, working with, leading research institutions in Georgia, such as Emory, most recently Georgia Tech and the Georgia State University. So we're interested and connected with VCs, if you're a VC, or with strategics. So looking at single payer employer organizations, we'd love to connect with you. Thank you.
Great job. You talked about the use case for clinical trial recruitment, but you also mentioned that there's options to partner with insurance companies. Can you talk about what the use case could be with those other verticals?
Yeah, so one pilot that we're running with an insurer that invested in us is essentially a rewards and engagement system where we can deploy our app to their members and they can meet certain criteria, like making sure that they are going to their, dental appointment twice a year, stuff like that, which can help drive a lot of the prevention from a cost savings on the insurer standpoint. And then they receive rewards for doing these actions through our token system in the app.
Cool. So what are some of the primary ways that you expect to grow your user base, since you've got a number of different channels that you can pursue?
Yeah. Our main priority right now is essentially growing the app users by really partnering with, like I mentioned, so with that insurer, we're pulling that out to 78,000 of their members. They cover over 60 million lives. We're looking to really hone in on the employer as well, large employer organizations, to help us grow our user base over time. Essentially, the more users we have engaged on our platform, the more of this information and reach we have in recruiting for the trials.
Makes sense. Logan, why don't you come off mute and ask your question?
Hey, Chrissa, good to see you again. Excited for what you're doing. App looks awesome. My comment was just that you really were a first mover, a very early mover in blockchain for health, and you've seen the benefits of blockchain evolve. And so I wondered if you could give us some context on kind of what are the really great opportunities in blockchain for health in 2021, and how are you sort of capturing those?
Yeah. And, we've kind of been, doing our market research and interviews all across the board in terms of the industry. Our use case, of course, we've always been passionate about the patients. Essentially why I decided to bring blockchain to healthcare. But for 2021, we definitely have the issue of data access, still at the core of our health AT as a challenge, right? And really moving on to other use cases, definitely the revenue cycle management, and claims adjudication can simply be streamlined through smart contracts and blockchain, which I think is a great use case, especially once consumers have access to their data and that transparency comes to the fold.
Jay Moore from Anthem, can you come off mute and ask your question?
Chrissa, could you tell me where you're getting the clinical information that you're pulling to drive what's in the database? So is it information that patients are entering themselves, or are you getting it from like health information exchanges or from clinical EMRs, or all of the above, or what?
Yeah. So right now the network is powered by essentially our partnerships and so we're pulling it directly from the EMR. So from about 10,000 health systems. On our product roadmap, we're now starting to work on our integration with genomics data. We just had a partnership discussion for another large healthcare HIE-like company that would want to, help to add information to our network. So, we don't have a limit as to how much information we can collect via the network, but today, like how patients are getting access to their medical records is through those 10,000 health systems EMRs.